Hello, everyone. It's another for the celebration of Safer Internet Day, and I hope we are all trying to keep safe. Today, we have the pleasure of quite a number of industry stakeholders participating today to share their insights, their thoughts, tips, and also to let us know how we can stay safe. But most importantly, we are taking a vital look at artificial intelligence as to how it's affecting safety in the cyberspace. Everyone is talking about artificial intelligence, and with many children and young people um, hearing about and using AI online, it's important that they have the skills and confidence to make safe choices when they are using smart technology. Celebrating Safer Internet Day is about exploring the impact of artificial intelligence on all our lives, look at how AI can be used for good, and giving advice and guidance that empowers people to use artificial intelligence safely and responsibly. Today's summit is organized by Center for Cyber Awareness and Development in partnership with DigiVation Network. Our Center for Cyber Awareness is a center that is focused on the enlightenment and promotion of cyber responsibility and cyber safety because we believe what you put out there is what others will consume. And if you are responsible online, you keep up to date with your cyber hygiene, it will also affect other users online. DigiVation Network is a technology company that is focused on sharing how technology is affecting businesses, lifestyle, and how it can also improve lives. Welcome everyone to DigiVation CECAD Safer Internet Day 2026. Today we'll be having Dr. Vincent Olatunji as our keynote speaker. Um, it's good to have him. We appreciate the time that he has taken to ensure that Nigeria data protection is part of this program. But today, due to unforeseen circumstances, he won't be able to join us in the chat, but he has assured that is going to be part of the discussion, and that is in the name of Adaobi Nwako. She is the head of at Nigeria Data Protection. Are you there? Adaobi, can you hear me? Okay, while we are waiting for, I would like to welcome all the participants for joining us this morning. Thank you so much for making out the time to join the conversation. It's a great pleasure to have you here. And while we are talking about Safer Internet Day, we know that quite a number of you have so many things you want to share, and also you have so many questions you want to ask the speakers, you want to ask the keynote speaker. At the comment section, you will see a space there where you can leave your questions, and also you can leave your contribution to the discussion. And wherever you are joining us from, you can also share that as well. While the discussions are on, you might have that typical internet myth that has been busted before, just to make the space lively this morning. So I want to find out from Ada Obi whether she is back and whether she's
I don't know if you
set
can hear me.
to. Uh, oh, Ada,
Yes.
thank you
I'm so
and
sorry.
welcome to
I'm so sorry.
DigiVation
I'm so
CECAD
sorry, everyone.
Safer
Thank you so
Internet
much.
Days Virtual Summit
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
on
I'll
the
start
video.
by apologizing for the network issues. And on behalf of my Honorable National Commissioner, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be part of this event
It's a
and this
normal thing in
program.
Nigeria. It's like traffic.
Exactly. So, on behalf of my National Commissioner, Dr. Vincent Olatiji, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone to be part of this conversation. So, good morning, guests, partners, ladies and gentlemen, and also the organizer and convener, CECAD, for bringing this event today. The theme of this event is smart tech, safe choices, navigating AI, and protecting our digital selves. But this theme shouldn't be seen as mere words, but as an action plan, because all of us here all have parts and roles to play to ensure that we have an enabling digital economy. So we're already living in a time where digital transformation is imminent. We have the Internet of Things, we have blockchain, we have artificial intelligence, which is one of the reasons why we're here. And AI is already seen as something that is staying, is not going anywhere. We have seen circumstance where AI is being used for visa processing from start to finish. I've seen how AI is being used in the health sector for diagnostic and also just normal workflow efficiency and to improve workflow in offices and so many other sectors or areas. So AI is already here to stay. So we should see AI as an enabler for our digital transformation. Digital transformation, especially in the MDAs, because now we're talking about digital public infrastructure, where we're moving from paper to digitalization. And what is going to run this DPI is AI in most cases.
Thank you, Ada, for that
So artificial intelligence is
um,
already
thank
shaping
you, Ada, for
our
that brief introduction. Let me, for those that are joining us of Dr. Vincent, let me
okay.
introduce him of your discussion.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ada, for that. I know everybody's geared up with your brief intro right there on the topic. Everybody is already typing their curiosity and Dr. Vincent Olatunji is the Dr. Vincent Olatunji is the National Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer. His education to knowledge and academic excellence. He holds a PhD in Geography and Planning from the University of Lagos, complementing his earlier pursuits of BSc and MSc in the same field. In 1997, he broadened his expertise by acquiring an advanced certificate in computer studies, thereby venturing into ICT. He has worked in the public sector for about 32 years, NIDA in 2002, working in various departments and rising to the position of a director in 2014 and acting director general in 2016. He was the director of e-government development and regulations, where he successfully mainstreamed the development and launch of various policies, guidelines, and frameworks such as Nigeria Interoperability Framework, Nigeria e-government enterprise architecture, cloud first policy, government digital service policy, Nigeria data protection regulation, and smart initiative framework transformation. He has also chaired the implementation committees of some of these. Okay, now that we have an incline as to uh, who Dr. Vincent is, and he will be speaking on the topic smart policy, smart devices, smart places, and we want to find out from Adobe, Dr. Vincent's message. Adobe, now you can have the floor.
Thank you so much, Meji. It was a very nice biography for my boss, Dr. Vincent. I like that he started from the beginning and he showed his growth in our digital ecosystem from NIDA to NDPC. Okay, so I don't know that I should start from the beginning or continue from where I stopped, but I'll just start. We are talking about AI, right? Like I said, AI should be seen as an enabler for our digital transformation. It shouldn't be seen as most people, when you ask a normal person what is AI, the first thing they just talk about is it not just computer, but it's more than that. So AI already has its benefits, and we are seeing the benefits right now. Like I said, AI is already reshaping our economy, our governance systems, our healthcare, our finance sector, our education, and also how we even interact with one another. I know most of us use some of these platforms like the Copilot or ChatGPT to refrain or streamline your communication. Maybe you want to send a thoughtful text message or you want to send a letter or an email. We use those platforms to do something for us. So even when we're communicating with each other, AI is also embedded or used. So, in a nutshell, AI is not going to be seen as something that is in the future, but is now. I remember when I was much younger, there was this movie that I watched, which was Back to the Future, where they were talking about all these emerging technologies and all that, which was a movie of the 80s, thereabout. But now we're seeing it now. So AI is now, it's not a futuristic um, technology, but it's right now. So it's already embedded in our daily life. But however, for an intelligent system like AI, something has to drive it, data. And the data that I'm talking about will be personal data. That is where Nigerian Data Protection Commission comes in. Personal data. When you talk about personal data, you're talking about your name, your phone number, your house address, things that are connected to you directly or indirectly. So whenever we're talking about personal data or whenever personal data exists, three main things are supposed to follow, which is trust, transparency, and accountability. So now we have an act which was enacted in 2023, which is the Nigerian Data Protection Act. And this act is already in line, or its principles are already relevant in AI, which This act is about, we already establishes our data protection legislation in Nigeria, talking about our legal rights, enforceable obligations for organizations that handles or process personal data, which is the Nigerian Data Protection Act. So it already speaks to AI because most AI systems, like I said, drive on data, and most data is, and the data I'm talking about is personal data. So our act has already built a fundamental principles that is relevant to AI, talking about lawfulness, fairness, transparent processing, which can also be found in section 24 of our act. Purpose limitation, that means an AI system must have a particular purpose for why they are processing that data. Data minimization, talking about only collecting what is necessary. Respect of data subjects' rights, in the sense that the data subject has the right to access information, rectification, and also to report to the commission if there's any violation to his data. And also accountability. As a data controller or a processor, you're mandated to implement technical and organizational measures into your systems, into your processes, into your organizations, and the likes. Having to implement privacy policy that shows how that information that you have collected, the personal data that you have collected, is being used, how it's being shared, how it's being processed. Talking about conducting data privacy impact assessments, that is to be able to identify if this system is violating the privacy rights of a data subject. Talking about bias mitigation by ensuring that there's fairness. How do you ensure fairness? Regular testing, monitoring, having incident response, also having ROPA, which is record of processing activities, that shows, that is used for traceability in order to trace how those processings are being used from the start to finish, and also implementing human oversight in all you do, when, especially when in regards to AI systems. Implementing security, we talk about privacy enhancing technology. When we talk about PET, we're talking about encryption, we're talking about pseudonymization, anonymization, differential ways of having to implement security into those systems, implementing privacy by design and by default, making privacy to be the first goal, not an afterthought. Whenever you're coming up with any innovation or AI platforms, what has to be the first thing you have to think about is the privacy of that system, of the users of that system, or the privacy, that's all I could say, the privacy and protection of that system, so that whoever is going to use those systems is being protected and their rights or their fundamental rights is not undermined. Um, so these principles already um, does not override the rights of data subjects. So AI is expected not to compromise privacy, but instead is supposed to be in compliance with relevant frameworks and regulations that guide our digital system, to, in order to not undermine fundamental rights of Nigeria. Like I said, even the algorithms that you're going to use, the data that you're going to be used to train the AI systems are not even exempted from compliance. They need to be trained to ensure that biases are not found, ensure that privacy hasn't been overridden, or even privacy has not been, yes, disrespected and all that. So, like I said, privacy by design, which is very important. DPIA, very important. Having a privacy policy, very important as an AI system, because it's, like I said, those key three things I mentioned previously: trust, accountability, and transparency. Those three things has it ensures that we have an enabling economy that benefits everyone involved. AI systems are already, it speaks to how do I put it? It speaks to our pillar two of our strategic roadmap, which is ecosystem and technology. And what does our pillar two talk about? It's talking about how we balance technology with privacy, how we balance technology privacy by ensuring that this technology are embedded with technical and organizational measures, embedded with secure technology for whoever is going to be using it. And is committed to ensuring that we strengthen compliance and deepen public awareness about data protection and privacy, because that people didn't know anything about privacy. If you then my boss, Dr. Vincent, was the only one that was a certified data protection officer. So now we are trying to deepen awareness about this, coming up with initiatives that will enable citizens to understand and to protect themselves when they are online, especially now that we talk about digital footprints. Our strategic roadmap also speaks about enhancing institutional capacity, because we strive on the PPP model, which is public-private partnership. We strive on collaboration, which is one of the pillars, pillar four of our strategic roadmap, and also encouraging privacy by design. We cannot overemphasize that. It's very important. Privacy should be the goal, in as much as that system or that AI is going to be used for something that will benefit users, but privacy must be the first thing that must be implemented or ensured in that system. So in all, our vision as a commission is to have a digital economy that is driven on trust, like I said, accountability, and respect of human dignity. So trust, with like we say, I know they say data is the new oil, which is very true, but trust is now the new currency. You can't use, you can't collaborate, you can't do anything if I do not trust you or no one trusts your system. So trust must be something that we must embed. And how do you do trust? By having to ensure that privacy is being embedded in every steps and life cycle of the AI platform. I will just say some few things. This is just, like I said, all of us, even all controller, we all have roles to play. And what our roles to play is to collaborate with us, collaborate with the commission, assist us in building and making sure that our strap, which is our strategic roadmap, our initiative comes to light. Because when this our initiative comes to light, Nigeria is not just going to be seen as a country, it's going to be seen as a country that safeguards the rights of its citizens. And in that way, we are looking at foreign investors coming into our country to work with us and to invest in our country. And also to the industry, developers, investors, let us have an AI system that privacy is first, mitigating biases by testing all algorithms, to ensure that there's fairness across gender, ethnicity, even socioeconomic status. conducting data privacy impact assessment for all AI projects, transparency, that means explaining what your AI systems is going to do, where that's why I talk about the privacy policy. Then to we the citizens, or to all of us, because we are all data subjects, regardless of who your data controller is. You can be your data, for instance, I use my personal data is in a bank. The bank is a data controller, I'm a data subject, but I can be maybe a supermarket and you work in a bank, you come to me too. I'm a data controller as a supermarket, you're a data subject. So all of us are all data subjects. So all of us now as a data subject were to ensure that data minimization, share only what is necessary, give only what is necessary, exercise your rights, because most people do not even understand, but it's good for you to read, understand that you have a right now, especially in our digital ecosystem, and also question the AI outputs. If you see things that are not supposed to be there, question it. Find out why that output is saying this, especially for AI systems. Find out why it's saying this. Read more. Like my Dr. Vincent is always telling all of us, go and read. Read more, understand, so that you'll be able to know what to say, what to do, and how to protect yourself while you're in the digital space. And lastly, if any violation to your rights, always come to the commission. The commission, we have an open door policy. Come to us, and you can also reach out on all our social media platforms. Are also available here. Come to us, and we'll be here to help you and assist you. So I'll just conclude here. Let us ensure that our technologies grow smarter, because as a commission, we do not strive for innovation. Instead, we encourage it. And that speaks to pillar two of our strategic roadmap. We encourage and foster indigenous solutions. So let's ensure that those our technology grows smarter. Safeguards are being implemented, like I said, technical and organizational measures. And let's work together, because we can't do things by ourselves. We need to work together to be able to build the type of system or ecosystem that we want. We want to be globally competitive with other countries. We want to have our innovations to be not Nigeria, but there's one thing about Nigeria, anything that starts here, to be honest, is replicated in other countries in Africa. So if this can work here in Nigeria, then we are sure to know that it's going to work in the whole of Africa. So let's see privacy as not an adversary, but partner, because a we want a digital ecosystem that is being trusted, and not just for me, but beneficial to everyone involved. Because when we navigate AI wisely, when we use what we're supposed to do, ensure compliance and adherence with fundamental principles of data protection and privacy, we're not just protecting the data, also protecting ourselves as citizens, as data subjects, and as Nigerians. So once again, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone for the opportunity to give this keynote speech on behalf of my national commissioner. And like I said, we are readily available to talk, to answer, and then you can also follow us on our social media and on our email address, which is info@ndpc.gov.ng. So thank you so much, everyone, and looking forward to more collaboration and support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adaobi, for that splendid delivery and sharing those information with us. And there's something you emphasize on, which is trust and responsibility. Like I've always said in conversations I've been part of, is trust is beyond even the ICT or the technology site users, the cyberspace users. Trust is trust is very, very sensitive right now, not only products and services, but also for interaction and how we participate in the cyberspace. Thank you so much, Ada will be for that. Moving on, like I've said before, we have splendid and remarkable experts that have joined us today to share their thoughts and opinion on um, these particular topics we are delving into. The panel session is here, and I can see some people are sharing where they're from. Sorry, let me put that one out there. Okay, somebody from ooh, Ima from Anambra. Okay. Thank you, Ima from Anambra. Thank you for joining us. And also, I'm seeing, okay, Dorcas properly. Thank you for joining us. We have the chairman, Nigeria Computer Society Lagos chapter, that's Dr. Adeshino Adewale FNCS. Thank you, sir, for joining us. That's from. So, moving ahead to the panel session, where we have amiable speakers, CCing this morning. But before we delve into the panel session, let's ginger ourselves and really bring it down to it. Now, there have been cases of how AI has been used recklessly and harming users of the cyberspace. The case of a Russian that went to Ghana, Kenya, I think Uganda, that has been demanded by Ghana to be extradited to Ghana to serve sentence because he used a spy glass. I think one of all those glasses made by Meta and all that to film more than 50 women without their knowledge or consent, private moments and otherwise, without their consent, without their knowledge. And on the case of deepfake, we've had cases of Grok where over 27 million of children and women are being used for pornography or sexual use, whatever, on different sites. And right now, so many organizations that are protecting users online are already standing up saying there should be a stop to all this. If all these new technologies are being brought forward, there should be a line between too much, too little, and the protection of users should be the utmost priority for all these technology companies. And as we all know, recently, a man in United States, a man was arrested for filming women without their consent using the same spy glasses. So many of these cases around the world that is cropping up now and is making harming people easy. It has made it so easy to bully people online, to invade their privacy online. All these technologies are good, but they are not putting into consideration the users. If bad people wants to use it otherwise or against the users, what what are those things that needs to be in place? And such is the current case where right now the Senate in the United States are grilling Mark Zuckerberg, standing trial and deep fake safety. These are more what we are going to be delving into during the panel session. Madam Bemisola Kayode Bolarinwa, and we have Mr. Emmanuel that will be part of this panel session. So let me welcome them to the stage. Hello, Dr. Sheyi. Hello, Madam Bemisola.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, delegates. Good morning, participants.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Uh, Good morning, Sada. Good morning, Bisola. Thank you very much for having me today.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you guys join us. And these particular topics that we want to explore, it's very, very key because, like our previous so many cases are cropping up around the world. It's like a Pandora box has actually opened. And these services, these products are here, and it's good to use them. But then again, the safety is not there. Yes. So we have Dr. Sheyi Akindeyode, Madam Gbemisola, and Emmanuel. They will be speaking on safer internet in a rapidly digital world. What needs to change now? Yes, a lot needs to change now. Definitely, a lot needs to change now. So, Dr. Sheyi, Madam Gbemi Sola, and Emmanuel, before we dive into the conversation, I just want to give a brief introduction of each and every one of you. Madam Sola, she is an advent project manager. She's a team player who is able to manage changing responsibilities and priorities. She is the head of innovation and governance at Lagos State Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Technology. She's a detail oriented and having a strong planning, organization, and time management skill. She's a seasoned trained manager responsible for improving the productivity of employees and very effective with coordination, product development, training, and training other training programs for other employees. Dr. Sheyi Akindende, with about 25 years of expertise in the technology and information security sector, he has dedicated a large portion of his early professional journey to understanding and addressing the security challenges within electronic fund transfer, that's EFT, and financial transaction system, that's ETFs. He had the privilege to share the findings of his comprehensive research work at an array of esteemed conferences and prestigious organizations such as the NSA, CBN, ISAN, CCIBN, CIBN, EFCC, NSC, EPAN, and other executive council and senior management, um, numerous financial institutions across Nigeria and internationally. Topic. Welcome once again, speakers. Welcome.
Thank you very
Let's look at productivity, like we were talking about the tech companies. Should technology, um, especially these tech companies, should technology companies be doing more to design safer digital environment? And what practical changes would make the biggest impact right now? They are coming with these products, these services, but most of them are not coming with safety design. So let me start from Madam Benisola, what are your thoughts on this very um, thought-provoking question?
Okay, so thank you, Mojisola. Thank you for these questions. So regarding what is happening today, I will say yes, technology companies should absolutely be doing more than design safety digital environments. As we know that the digital space as we have now is now changing, and so are the way that we can stay safe online. Alongside these cybersecurity laws and data protection laws, as the first speakers has already talked about, technology companies, for example, the designers, the developers, the engineers, they are to be working with safety by design in mind, which this puts user safety at the heart of the design and development of the online product and services they offer. You know, nowadays, instead of us to be reacting to harms such as misinformation or cyberbullying, scams, data links, these organized technology companies should all end from the beginnings to embed safety into their product architects from day one. Because we know that according to our Nigerian data protection law, which addresses data minimization, many risks arises from excess data harvesting. So I will slightly say that technology company needs to collect only necessary data so as to have data um, retention, shorter data retention cycle that will help them, to have this safety by design in mind. So my answer to your question is yes, technology companies should absolutely be doing more than designing a safer digital environment. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Bemi, thank you for that submission on, they should have it, while most of them are still lagging, lagging behind in that. I didn't anyway. Dr. Shei, I know you have some thoughts on this. I don't know if you can add to Madam Bemisola's submission on this.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. Good morning once again, everybody, and the participants. Thank you for the question, and thank you for the opportunity to add my thoughts on the matter. Now, you see, the truth is the way I always like to look at it is there are two sides to the story. So there are the people that are on the innovation side, and then there are the people that are on the other side that are users. And examples that I always use every time we talk about new technology, AI, the internet, they always usually come with their own safety concerns and regulations. And it's not new. Anything that has technology, anything that is technology is always, when it starts, you have to look at it. The innovators are not usually the people that will come up with the safety concerns. Let me give three examples. Now, you see, when the technology of car was first invented, cars did not come with seat belts. What happened? It took until somebody was driving one day, stepped on the brake, and it took somebody's head to hit the dashboard before there was some kind of policy that said, okay, what can we do to safeguard this? What safety measures can we put in place to make people not, hit their heads on the dashboard in case of accidents and all that. Then they came up with things like seat belts, and that was how a seat belt was invented by someone who then patented the idea. That's another innovation on top of an existing innovation. It wasn't the car creator that came up with that. The second thing I want to talk about is when you're driving again, cars never came with windshield wipers. A lady was driving one day and it started raining and she couldn't see and she parked by the road to wait for the rain to stop. And then while she was waiting, she thought of an idea that what can we put on this thing that will mitigate when people are driving instead of not being able to see properly. And she thought of an idea and then came up with windshield wipers. And then today, all cars are coming up with, windshield wipers. The last one is extra tire. Cars never came with extra tires. It took somebody who was driving one day, one of the tires went down, and they realized that there was no, vulcanizer on the road. They had to, manually, take the tire to the vulcanizer. And then they came up with an idea to say, what can we do? What safety mechanisms can we put in place? So you can see three different inventions on top of an existing invention. So the same thing is going to happen with AI. We saw it with the internet. When the internet also first, blew up, especially in this part of the world, people saw it as an avenue to do things that they could not ordinarily do. So people were visiting sites that normally they would not do. And guess what happened? It birthed an industry called cybersecurity. That's why we have cybersecurity industry today. So we started having laws, started having rules, having compliance rules, started having a lot of these standards to say, okay, if you must deploy this technology, this is what you must do. So what am I driving at? I'm driving at the fact that technology has never been the problem. People inventing, they think from a use case perspective. So what would happen here is we on this side now have to know a lot about the technology, which is why I always tell, and I'm happy that the representative of the NDPR chairman is also here. This is where they come in. Now, what I have seen that we do here is we always react. But for we to sort of mitigate and put security, safety, and trust in all these technologies, we on this part have to also understand how these technologies work, how they affect people, so that when we understand it, it's going to be easy for us to put this in place. So I don't think technology has always been no inventor, and I'm also happy that Mrs. Bimies is head of innovation in IMST. No innovator, when you innovate, we don't think from the perspective of, oh, this is the risk. We just think, look at the Wright brothers when they created the first plane. They were not thinking of plane crashes and all these things. But you would take a risk, somebody with a risk management perspective, to understand how the technology works, and then because at the end of the day, if you think about it, if you go to the market and buy a pair of scissors is meant to be used to cut something. But if somebody uses it to stab another person, are you going to blame the manufacturer of the pair of scissors? No, you're not going to blame the person. That's why rules are not made for products. They're actually made for people, because at the end of the day, it's the person that's going to use that thing to do whatever. So that's my initial take on what I think we can do. We just on this side need to understand the technology enough to know, not just about talking about it. We talk about biases, we understand it enough, how these things, how they do the training of these AI models, how they implement them, how people deploy them, what kinds of data centers they use, what kinds of APIs they call. So when we understand it, then it's now going to be easy for us to now talk about data protection, the channels of data, and the safety and trust aspect of it. That's my take. Thank you. Madam Muji, I don't think we can hear you. Or I don't know if you can hear her.
I don't think she's on the call anymore.
Oh, okay. Maybe her link is
Okay,
Hey,
but I think
Hello,
I can go ahead.
Emmanuel.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you are a tech architect and an engineer, and from the submission of Madam Gbemi Sola and that of Dr. Sheyi, according to them, is two-edged sword. It falls on everybody's shoulders. But what are your thoughts on it as a designer and as an engineer?
Yes, yes, I support Dr. Ulu when he said security, it's not a technical problem, it's more of a design problem. But when we ask about the question of staying safe in a digitally changing world, we must first understand that the internet is not unsafe by accident, it is unsafe by design. Now, we often treat the internet as a technical problem. It is not. That is why I'm saying I am going to support Dr. Olu, what he said. So platforms are generally built for engagement, not protection. They're built to support growth and not to hold growth back. They are meant for data extraction, not data minimization. Now, let's use an example. Let's take digital identity systems, for example. That's data protection. Most times we encourage citizens or we encourage people to verify themselves online, they submit biometric data, and they link account, and we call that safety because basically if you put your a certain number, it's going to like bring out information, every information about you, bank details, BVN, everything, right? For an average person, that feels like protection, right? But for an attacker, that's like a single point of failure because what happens if I get access to just one thing that controls every other thing in your life, right? So when digital breaches or identity abuse happens, the user is left to face the problem. So when you think about that, bringing AI into it, AI doesn't change that. It is only going to accelerate it because generally speaking, AI steals productivity from your emails. You send text messages. It makes your work easier, right? From the original definition of computers, they're meant to make our work easier, but AI is a step above what we understand by what computers mean. It's going to scale productivity, yes. It is also going to scale deception and it's going to scale impersonation and exploitation, right? So a few years ago, scams used to require a lot of effort. Unlike today, where maybe AI can clone your voice, can clone your face, and they can even send these attacks at scale. Like recently, I even heard I'm going to speak from my field basically, and I heard there were like I read the news online where there were AI systems that were used to replace pen testers. Now it was a legal aspect of it, but AI was like meant to like if you understand what pen testing means, trying to find vulnerabilities in systems before attackers do. So AI is going to scale productivity, but deception and impersonation as well. So before you used to see maybe I'm going to speak of this from like a personal experience because growing up I was in charge of my grandma's like digital identity, her bank records, account statements, her phone, her calls, her messages. I was in charge of it all, right? And there was this time somebody made a call to her, and the person pretended to be from like a bank. She used to apply for loans a lot. So the person pretended to be from a bank, and what the person said actually was that she applied for a loan. They were trying to verify some details. They had her BVN. I don't know how they did that, but they had a BVN. And as a result, they needed to confirm an OTP, a one-time password that was sent to her phone, so that we're going to use to confirm the loan application and all, right? So as a result, I thought about it. I was not into cybersecurity then, but I was smart enough to know that the bank won't ask for your personal information, the bank won't ask for a password, an OTP or nothing. So I thought to myself and I said, why would the bank ask for this? So one thing led to another thing, and we didn't end up sending it to the person, right? So, but I'm just giving you a view of what scams used to look like. Nowadays, you don't need to do all that. You don't need to go in through all those processes. AI can, like how I'm on this stream right now, AI can be able to like clone this video, clone my voice, send emails, do a lot of things in this world, right? So at this point, this is no longer about awareness. It is lies designed, right? For my own take, if people have to be perfect to stay safe, then it is not safe at all, right? So what I think we should do with this, I'm going to like structure it into 4 points, and I've heard the main keynote speakers speak about this. I've heard Dr. Olu speak about it as well. And safety must be a design constraint. So if you're going to build a system and a non-technical person can use the system, then that system is not safe. It is ignorant, right? It is negligent, basically. And second point, accountability must move upstream. He also mentioned something like this. Today, harm happens downstream with users, but control lives upstream with platforms and developers. People developing these platforms, these people have more, they should be more responsible for our digital identity today, because most times these users, we train people how to use cell phones, but we don't train people what to do when cell phones go bad, when there are data breaches on cell phones. We don't train them how to do that, right? So control must move upstream. There should be a responsibility from the developers and the platform, rather than placing all the responsibilities at the mercy of the users. Next is digital literacy must replace digital optimism. Now, teaching people how to use tools without teaching them how to use them is irresponsible. Very. This is exactly why I am building Cybans. So, not as a certification mail, but like a platform where it's going to like educate people about cybersecurity, because it's my field, and I feel like in the next 10 years it's going to be a very, very important field. It's important right now, but it's going to be a very important field in the next 10 years. So training people, not just training people the theory, but the practical aspect of cybersecurity, what these attacks feel like, what these attacks look like, and how to exploit or how to even prevent these attacks in the first place, right? Then AI governance must focus on impact, not intention. Good intentions do not reduce harm. Measured outcomes do, right? If an AI system repeatedly causes harm or exploitation, accountability should not be optional. So, one of the biggest failures we've made in teaching people how to use digital tools without teaching them how these tools are designed, how trust is engineered, and how systems fail. That gap doesn't close with awareness campaigns. It closes with structured, practical security education. A safer internet will not come from better warning or nicer policies. It will come from when we are willing to redesign these systems, make it more about incentives and not about engagement. Social media today is built based on engagement. If you're chasing clouds, if you're doing engagement with social media, you have a lot of engagement. And this basically shapes our teenagers, what our teenagers consume. They see what to consume, what to imitate. They see information they should fear. It's all on social media, right? Then, but the internet is going to shape the society either way. It is left for us to see it, how maybe shape it deliberately or just be felt by the impact. Let the impact feel the impact. Yes. So thank you very much. I believe I've made a very good point. Thank you very much.
Yes, you have. Emmanuel, thank you very much for that contribution and submission on that. And you made mention something. You said um, it's not unsafe by accident, but it's unsafe by design. That really caught my attention right there. So even the safety issues we are facing right now with technology services and products is by design. Wow, that's that's a lot to take in for me.
Yes, yes,
So
I
quite a number of times, a lot of people have mentioned knowledge is power. And when we look at capacity, we are talking about cybersecurity, we are talking about artificial new emerging technologies and spaces. And a lot of companies are complaining there is no capable to employ for it. And those that are asking, what do people call it, japa. So my next question to you guys is, beyond laws and technology, how do we build a culture of responsible digital citizenship, especially among young people? In this world, we say we don't know. But the case now is enlightenment and promotions have been organized by different organizations, even some techniques based on their website, be conscious of this, be conscious of this, young people. How do we build a culture of responsible digital citizenship? Let me get Dr. Oluseyi Akindende's response first. Doctor.
Okay, so a lot of these things, again, it has to do with, you're talking about getting the capacity building and involved, and the fact that we don't have a lot of people who are capable. And I think a lot of it lies with the incentive mechanisms that we have. If you The previous speaker, the engineer, just spoke about people using social media. I mean, if the incentive isn't there, people are not going to chase incentive. And one way to look at it is, if you look at some of the competitions that we have, when you have a competition that is like, I don't know, maybe some of these social competitions like maybe BB Nigeria, and then you now have another competition that is intellectually similar, maybe like my mathematics competition. You look at the incentive, maybe when they are given a price of $100,000 in one place, another, the price of the other one is maybe 100,000 naira. So at the end of the day, there's no incentive for the younger people, for the youth, to go for anything that is remotely technically involved. So they would rather shift towards the other side. And as you move the youth towards the other side, you start to diminish the intellectual side as well. So that's why you see a lot of young people, they're more interested in the social aspect of even the internet. And because, like he also said, that the internet that we use, AI is also leveraging the internet, by the way, is that it wasn't built for safety and security by design. And that's why you always have, every time there's a new thing now. So think about it. When we started with the internet, everybody would talk about HTTP. We started with HTTP. What happened a few years later, when people started sniffing data, they now said, oh, every website must have HTTP what? S. That S is the security that was built on top of that HTTP, which also says that, look, the truth is, security, safety controls would always come after the technology has been built. Back in the day, about maybe 10, 15 years ago, we used to have our payment system used to be magnetic stripe driven, which was no security. I mean, that the card details were on the back of the card on that magnetic stripe, and then people could easily clone the cards. Guess what happened? When it was being built and people were talking about safety and concern, it was in the industry was like, look, let's even see how well people will adopt this thing. Remember that when you are building a piece of technology, you are not sure of the adoption. You don't know how people are going to use it. You don't know how, so you are not going to be bogged down with, oh, let's put safety, let's put security. Some of these things, you usually open it. It's only when the adoption comes. A typical example right now is full self-driving cars. If you go to some parts of the US now, there are cars that are being driven, that are self-driving. Now, and you find out that in those cars, a lot of the things that were used to as humans, maybe things like side mirrors, things like rear view mirrors, things like horns and all those, they are not there right now because they are not going to be used by a robot. They are not going to be used by an AI that is driving the car, because there are cameras all over the place. Now, if you're not going to say, it takes somebody who understands how these things work to start to put safety and security in place. So a lot of the things we really, really need to do is education. We need to start educating our people from the grassroots, not the kind of education that is just jingles, and real education where perhaps we would have people go into local government areas and start to educate them on. Look, I think we are underestimating the capacity of what AI will do. We're still looking at it from, a lot of us are still looking at it from the perspective of Copilot and ChatGPT and deepfake. AI is now moving from that to agents and agentic AI, which will lead to things like autonomous agents that would automatically be doing things. So the rules that we have for humans controlling it will be fundamentally different. The data privacy laws for AI agents is not going to be from the perspective of a human. It's going to now be from the perspective of an agent. What can an agent do? So if we're still trying to apply those laws, because when you are using an agent, for instance, an agent does, just like I said, autonomous driving cars now, there are things that humans use that an autonomous driving car would never use. So at the end of the day, those laws, the regulations, and the safety controls that you have to put will be different from what. So we're not going to shoehorn what we have right now and say, oh, we want to apply it to AI. Just like when the internet came. When the internet came, the controls moved from physical. Now anybody could sit on the computer and send an email, and then it will get to the person immediately. There were sites at the time when people could just go online, going to all these pornographic sites and all that. So there were controls that now came and said, look, we have to put controls in place to mitigate the risk of these kinds of things happening. So we have to rewrite those controls. That's why we have standards now. We have ISO standards. We have cybersecurity standards. We have safety standards. We have quality control standards now that are addressing, they're not addressing the physical thing, they're addressing the cyber, and that's because over time, we've grown to understand the risks involved in this thing, the hacking risk, the threat risk, the vulnerability, and all these things, the worms, viruses, and endpoint protection. We've now categorized them and then written those laws now, and that's why we now have a field. So going further, I think that there's going to be a new field that will probably be something like called maybe AI security and governance, that will address the issues that we are facing, not will address humans, that will affect the way AIs work, that will affect the way AIs transmit. Right now, we've seen on the internet that AIs are already attacking, organizations. They're already infiltrating systems beyond even the deep fakes. We're talking about real data exfiltration that even with controls that most of us have now, you can't detect it. So those are the things we need to start to do, and it boils down to education, and which is why I like what the keynote speaker said at the beginning, that the DG is always asking them to go and study, go and read, go for training, go for capacity building, because that is the only way. If you want to use old knowledge and apply to the new technology, I think we're already set up for failure. That's my take on that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oluseyi, on that submission. It's a lot needs to be done. So much still needs to be done, and you know, guidance, parents, even teachers, everybody is becoming so much. They are afraid right now. The concern is so high right now, and we have the case of Sweden, a country that it's is going back to basics. Sweden is leaving digital learning, especially for the younger ones, going back to basics. That's the books. So, Madam Gbemi, on this particular issue we are treating right now, so many people, especially those that are guardians to young people, you know, our culture generally in Nigeria, we know whatever you imbibe in the citizens for a very long time is what is going to stay with them. So on this particular question, culture, digital literacy, on how to be safe, on how to be responsible. Parent, as somebody that is an IT expert, as somebody that is a, a digital citizen, Madam Gbemi.
Okay, so thank you for that question, and I'm fully in line with what Dr. Sheria said earlier. That capacity building is what we really need in this aspect of this ensuring that we build a culture for a responsible digital citizen. You know, in this AI driven era that we are responsible. We need to to create a responsible digital citizenship that more, it has become a social norm now. It's not just about compliance to rules or law or any acts. It's something that we need to do, because we, as the rise of AI is, taking off now, it's not slowing down, it's keep increasing day by day. We need to make sure that our use of internet, even the use of AI, we have to be a safer place, for us to know must be our top priority at this time, and especially to our young ones. Some of these children, they don't even know their left from the right, why they are even using AI or even using the internet. So we have to know the top priority for us to be safe, either on the internet, or on the use of AI, even either at home or either at work or anywhere we are. Even with the use of our phone, it should be our top priority. As the way we use the internet and our relationship with this digital space are changing. So we need to have a best practice, especially among the young ones, so that they will not fall into the hand of all these hackers, cyber bullies on the internet, or even so that they will not even be using the AI in the wrong way. So that is why this Safe Internet Day, the awareness that you are creating is very, very important, and it is very paramount. I must commend you for this particular show you are doing at this day, because this one that you are doing, you are using it to create, to raise awareness on issues that are rising on the use of AI and also the use of using internet. So that even more people that are listening now, they'll be more aware of what they need to take care of and what they need to do and what they ought not to do. This the young ones, they are prone, they are prone to this cyberbullying, they are prone to digital identity, stealing identity on the digital. They are also, we need to ensure their safety, either using AI or using internet. There was a time that I went to some schools in Abeokuta, to speak about this safety on the internet to secondary school students. I could see that most of them, they don't even know what they are supposed to do. All what they just know is that, oh, I want to be on internet, I want to be on Facebook, I want to be on TikTok, but they don't have this privacy safety in mind at all. So when I was even thinking, talking to them that, oh, how many of you have different passwords for different applications you are using? Some of them say, I'm using one particular password for the entire application. Same one password for Facebook, one password for Instagram, one password for Twitter. That's what but innocently that's what he's using. So what about if somebody just got a hold of that password, then he had access to practically everything he used on the social platform. So that's why this awareness, the capacity building needs to be done, especially among the young ones. Even among adults, we adults too, we need to also be aware of how to use the AI, how to use on the internet, how to keep ourselves safe on it. No, for our children, we need to ensure that they have the right tools, they have the right resources to protect them. Even while using AI, we need they have this right resources to protect them. I heard something I saw a video sometimes on Instagram that's talking about some apps that children are not, the young ones are not supposed to use without strict parents supervision. Example, Roblox. I don't even know anything about. I've never been to the hubs anyway. No, these are some open social gaming platform that young ones are using constantly. And with this, if if they use it inappropriately, they will be victims of this cyberbullying. You know, so these are some of this application. They expose children, they expose the young ones, they expose them to strangers, they expose them to scams. They also expose them to a lot of unsafe things that is happening out there on the digital space. Even with this advent of AI as well. So I also say that there is another app that take Fortnite. This is a voice chat or friend. So we need to also teach them. Let's create awareness.
Thank
Let's
you very much for.
thank
Oh, okay.
yeah. I thought you are rounding up, or do you still want me to continue on this particular
Yes, please.
question?
Yes, please. I thought you were done.
Okay, so I'm just saying that for us to to keep our young ones safe, um, and to create to build a to build the culture of responsibility target citizen, especially among the world. So we need to also monitor what they do on this digital space. We need to we need to guide them. We need to restrict them from using all these apps, inappropriately, so that they will not fall the victims, they will not fall into the hands of wrong people on the internet. So they will also need to also guide them. There are some chatting apps that we need they are not moderated, they are unmoderated chat apps, the way they meet strangers. And it is a high risk for them to contact stranger and to groom them into what they're not supposed. So that we need to for us to create a safe digital citizens. So these are the things that we need to monitor what they do. We have to keep, give them a close supervision of what these young people are doing online, so that they will grow up, when they are aware of what they can do and what they ought not to do. They will grow up to be a responsible citizen on the digital space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Bemi, for that amazing submission you have there from the perspective of guidance, parents, and also as a digital um, user. Um, with emerging technologies comes threats, and with AI generated content, deepfakes, increasingly sophisticated cybercrime, what new risks should we be preparing for today to avoid crisis tomorrow? Emmanuel, as an architect and an engineer, let's start from you. What are your thoughts and what is your response to this?
So with emerging technologies, the best risks to be aware of basically right now is impersonation. That's the risks I would like to really point out. Because given how AI is able to like impersonate basically everything from, let's say, a banking site, because in cybersecurity now there's what you call a phishing attack, and it's an attack where someone creates something to impersonate another thing. For example, you're using a GT Bank account, and I create a fake web page to like make you, trap you, or trick you into clicking on that link, or even diverging your information to me, or divulging your information to me, as the case may be. So AI, this is done like manually, of course, but with the advance of AI currently, it is going to be easy to do it at scale. When I mean at scale, I think there was a training where I was involved in, and they were like training us on how to spot impersonation attacks. And the thing is, you just need a list of people. So if I get a list of people who are GT Bank customers, I'll be able to use AI or leverage AI to send emails, phishing emails to these people at scale. right? So it won't be like a manual process of sending one after the other, one after the other. So impersonation is the risk I would really like to point out. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your submission, Emmanuel. Contribution to what he has said in answering the question. Prepare for and today, and how can we
Yeah.
avoid some of these crises
it,
tomorrow?
yes. A lot of some of the things we have started seeing, some of the challenges of using AI, one of which is misinformation and disinformation. In fact, it's grown the disinformation space by astronomically now, because it's now so easy. Back in the day, it wasn't. It was a bit difficult to. Misinformation is just when somebody spreads information without knowing whether it's true or not, sort of like a rumor. But disinformation is deliberate spread of information. Now with deep fake, where somebody can just take. I have an app on my computer now. All I need to do is, as you are talking now, I'll just take maybe 30 seconds of your voice, and I can now type something that you never said, and then the thing will repeat it in your voice and your face, and then I can send it out to someone and say, this person said this, and it will look believable. And we've seen it several times, even on the internet, where high profile Nigerians have come out to debunk that they never said something. So you see somebody who's going to take the video of maybe like a very well known person in the industry recommending an investment strategy. Oh, go and buy this share, go and buy this thing. You are guaranteed. So there, a lot of people are now using it to say, oh, if this person is promoting this thing, then it must be good. And people are believing that kind of thing until the real person comes out to say, look, I don't say things like that. I've never said things like that. Before, it used to be that people were cloning people's social media accounts. But now they're actually using their faces, they're using their voices, and it looks believable. So those are some of the challenges we're seeing. But of course, again, like I always say, just like when a lot of the things happening now, they are not new, in my own opinion. So when computers first came as well, when we were using computers and the internet came, we started having things like virus issues. Oh, where somebody could put a virus on a flash drive and then you install it. Guess what? We started having antivirus. So the same thing with all the issues we're having now. We will take the technology, we'll use the same technology that people are using to mitigate the risks as well. And so again, it boils down to awareness. It boils down to capacity, and a lot of the things that you are also doing in terms of bringing awareness to the public. But beyond that, maybe a lot of our schools, just like Mr. Jamie said, we need to start embedding cyber culture into our schools from nursery to primary to secondary, not just at the tertiary level. They need to start. Everybody is using. There's almost nobody, even if you're not using a smartphone, using a feature phone. Everybody's carrying one digital instrument or the other, or you're carrying one digital device or the other. We need to start embedding. It needs to be part of our culture. The same way we are teaching mathematics and English language in our university, in our schools, we need to start to teach cyber culture. They need to start to embed it, to know these are the sites you go, this is what you do on the internet, this is how you respond to this when you get this is how you do this. That would also engender innovation, because if you think about all these innovations that are coming out, if we try to stop it, like ban the technology, we're not going to have innovation, which is all over the world. We don't have innovations, don't come out of Africa, because we largely limit the number of people that use it. Like there are universities you go to, they don't allow them use phones, they don't allow them use iPads, they don't allow them use all these digital. But if you don't allow students who are supposed to be learning this thing, how do they innovate? How do you learn how to build mobile apps? How do you learn how to build websites if people don't even use it? But they say, oh, because it can be easily be misused. But because the fact that it can easily be misused does not mean that people do not have access to it. And that's because we are not. If people from age 1, age 2, age 3, when they are getting old, start to imbibe cyber culture, They know that this is when I'm going to a website. This is what I will check. This is what it looks like. This is where I will check the security. This is where I will check the certificate of the website. This is what I will see about a website that is original. And if I go to a fake website, this is the what it is. I will check the URL. I will check this. Once they start, it then becomes part and parcel of them. And in that process, you're surprised that it may even be someone in Africa here that will find a solution to probably things like deepfake and biases and all those kinds of things as well. So it's going to engender innovation. So I think that's what we can do. We need to educate. In fact, education should anything we're doing, which is why even in our company, the first thing we do is education is so important to adoption of technology, that if we're not educated, there is no I don't think there's any future for any piece of technology here. And so that's why I think we need to imbibe education, we need to move, and then we need to encourage a lot of our young people to get into the boring side of technology, not just in the usage. Everybody's on social media, everybody's on TikTok, but we are on it as users. We're on it as downloading information. We're on it as for how many of us are actually building some of these technologies, even if it doesn't go viral, but at least we understand how these technologies work. We understand how data centers work. We understand how applications work. We understand how even all these mobile devices work. Then it will be easy for us and to train our people and be innovative using the technology. And that's my take on it. I think that's what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We need to encourage the young people. We need to also educate them. We need to improve on the internet safety culture, which is very, very important, I must say. Rounding off on the panel discussion right now, so many things have been said, the responsibilities of the users, talk about different types of threats and how they look like, how to avoid them. With all these platforms, tags, and all that, the policies, because at the end of the day, the policies is still part of the mix. And many of these policymakers don't even understand these technologies, how they are being used or what they are used for. And the only thing they see out of it is the revenue that is coming, some startups are making. And it's beyond that, the policy and the regulation. And I'm happy that, you know, Nigeria Data Protection Commission is part of this conversation. So round growth actually outpace regulation. The rate at which it's growing is very, very fast. What specifics must be addressed immediately, like with immediate that's from Madam Fumi. Sorry, Madam Bemi. Sorry, her name is what I saw.
Yeah. So at this point that we have, it is nice to say that even in Nigeria now we have Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023. So we also have the Cyber Security Act that was amended in 2024. But apart from these two acts, acts that exist in Nigeria now, we still need to have some policies, as you said, to have a online safety, to keep people safe, not only the young ones, even the adults, to keep everybody safe on the internet, and also to guide us in the use of AI that is rising so high now and at a faster pace. At least in Lagos State, I remember, I know that we've already published AI a guideline on our website. So you can go on the website and see the AI guideline Lagos State has published. So apart from that,
That's good.
so, yes, so we need There are some policy or, and regulation gap that we need to close immediately in Nigeria. Other countries has it, other developed country has it, but we need to close it in Nigeria. So one is Online Safety Act. We don't have it in Nigeria. So it's something that this is the act
Okay.
that we, yeah, it will hold such platform, websites, and social media companies to account to ensure that they limit access to age inappropriate content or take down illegal content and are transparent about the type of content user may come across, giving them more control over what they say online. So this is what we need to do, to, to do in Nigeria now to keep people safe on the internet. Also, we need to have these digital service acts. They have it in developed countries, so we can also do this too in Nigeria. This is the act that is the one of the laws around the world that is also working to protect people from online harms. So by taking this preventive and predictive measure to limit online harms, so designing digital platform products for all users and protecting safe internet use. Users will feel empowered to make safe choices online, and they can also take control of their online experiences once all these acts are in place. So this is just my take, and I will also encourage everyone to go on Lagos State website and look at the AI guidelines that are published in there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel, do you have some suggestions to add to what Madam
Yes.
Bemi just gave just now?
Yes, I do actually. And I actually wanted to unmute my mic and see something because it's a very, very important thing we need to address in Nigeria. There's a big gap between policy and real world impact, right? And to help us understand this, I'll be explaining this in four steps. The first is the capacity gap. Like I said, law enforcement, these regulators don't have enough technical experience. So I feel they need a lot of technical experience to be able to like implement these policies. And the second is an enforcement gap. Policies exist in paper. You'll be shocked to see how many policies are in Nigeria. You'll be shocked to see how many policies are in place. But there's always an enforcement gap. If you're bringing out a policy, you make sure you follow it to the letter, right? And then there's a user reality gap. You enforce policies without getting user inputs. Who are these users? Users are people that are using your services. If you're implementing the policy, who are you going to? Definitely, you need to take a survey. You need to take a survey about these young people, these young users that are going to be using, that are going to be directly impacted by these policies you're making. So, we have a user reality gap, and finally, we have an accountability gap, right? I've already made mention of it in my original, my first question. I made mention of it where the responsibility is, as of now, is solely more focused on the users rather than the platforms and the developers. So I feel the responsibility should be shifted away. Like most of the responsibility should be shifted away from the user and placed directly in the hands of the developers and the platforms that are tasked with managing our data. Thank you very much. Hello, Adesola, can you hear me? Hello.
I think she's having
Yeah, we are
technical.
we are listening to you.
Oh, okay. I am done. I'm done.
Oh, okay, okay. So, thank you, Emmanuel, for that contribution. Dr. Olusheyi, do you have some additions to what Madam Bemisola and Emmanuel has suggested with respect to specific policies and regulatory gaps that needs to be addressed like immediately, emergency, right now?
I think they have both touched on all the things that we need to do, and it's just that we need to the ND, the data protection also needs to give. One of the things I've seen with policies, like people don't see how the policy is going to affect them. So, like when Mrs. Gwemi said she went to a school and students are using one password for all sometimes they don't realize because when you have a policy and you have risk management, there's going to be consequences. So sometimes they don't really see what the consequences. After all, I have a password to it, but they don't know that if I have just one password to all my website. The attacker just needs only one access and they gain everything. So in driving the policy, we need to also be showing how this policy will affect. I mean, we can go as far as telling people not to share information, not to post, but the way we think here, which is what I also think, we need to have some kind of localized level of policy. Because if you tell people, most times when you go online now, when people travel or they go on holiday, you see them tagging location, tagging friends, tagging things. And if you tell them, oh, we are sharing this thing, you are tagging this place, by tagging the place you are telling a would-be kidnapper where you are located, where you are. To them, they're just sharing information. To them, they're just making it. So we need, beyond the policy needs to filter down to the grassroots, so that they see the consequences. Which is why I like the way when you go to certain police academies, they actually teach them in the way like a thief thinks, when a thief is going to break in. So by seeing it, you are better able to. So when they come and say, oh, this is why you have to put burglary proof here, this is why you have to secure this part, it makes sense. They see that, okay, if I don't do this thing, this is the consequence. So the policies and the standards and everything we're going to pass, they need to filter down to the grassroots. Because at the end of the day, all these things that we are seeing, they are taking advantage of miseducation of people. They are taking advantage of the fact that people don't even know. Think about phishing, for instance. Now, think about social engineering, for instance. That's they just take advantage of human psychology. So if we do these policies and then we imbibe it in our local culture, from the grassroots, I think, beyond just getting the policy and paper, just like the engineer said, that there are so many of these policies that people don't even know, how to interpret this policy. So I think that's what we need to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for your suggestions, submissions, and tips that you have shared so far during this particular panel discussion. And also, we thank the Nigeria Data Protection Commission for allowing Adaobi to be part of the conversation. They are all listening. Nigeria Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, they are innovation and digital economy, they are listening. We have quite a number of representatives in the comment section here. Um, I'm happy to have this conversation with Dora and Emmanuel. Thank you so much for your contribution. Um,
Thank you for having me.
there's no question or additional question from the party. Us having internet safety culture, and we also need to encourage young people to innovate, not only to consume technology. While Online Safety Act, as one of the things we can explore, was also suggested. From all these that have been said, it's very clear that um, AI is here and is not going to stop, but it's only for us from the primary school level up to university level to ensure that artificial intelligence is being made use positively and that we are not and it's being used for good community, because AI can also be used for good. Thank you very much, everyone, once again, for your time. Dr. Vincent Olatunji, National Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria Data Protection, represented by Adaobi Nwako, that's the head of innovation at NDPDC. Thank you, Madam Bimisola Kayode Bolariwa. She's the head strategy and governance at Lagos State Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. Thank you, Dr. Oluseyi Akindende. He is the founder Mira AI and Hyperspace, doing great things in the artificial intelligence ecosystem in Nigeria. And also, thank you very much, Emmanuel Orima. Please pronounce the last one for me. Let me know more than your name.
It's Imano Yuma Tabishima. Emmanuel Oyiman
Tabishima,
Tabishima.
because the last part of your name, I thought you were a Japanese person.
No, 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 no. I'm in Nigeria.
Okay,
So,
so thank you everyone for your time. Great. I learned a lot personally, and I believe the participants too learned quite a number of it. So, viewers, thank you for time, thank you for the patience, and thank you for the contribution in the comment. Data Protection Commission, Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria, AIT. We want to also thank IPAS for their time. We want to appreciate your state Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. We also want to appreciate Nigeria Computer Society. Thank you everyone for the partnership, for the support. We at Center for Cyber Awareness and Development and DigiVation a big thank you for your time. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you and bye.
thank you very much for having me. Bye.